Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a bit different. It's going to be a bit more vloggy kind of style because I want to do a bit more of kind of like a chatty kind of video because where we are in the month of Halloween is very closely approaching. I thought I would do a little series on my channel starting with this video, basically just talking about different things that normally come with Halloween. Today's video I thought I would talk about vampires because they're probably my favourite Halloween creature. That's what I basically wanted to do today. So if you're interested in hearing what I have to say about it, then just keep watching. So the first thing that I wanted to bring up is obviously, as everybody most likely definitely knows, well, and if you didn't then you need to know, obviously vampires are obviously a fictional thing. They've never existed, but obviously they are in books, films, TV programs. Obviously the original one is Count Dracula. If you watch the original movie, it is actually kind of terrible, but I mean, the book is from like 1817, I can't remember, but it's a very old book. But yeah, I mean, I was really surprised at how bad that film is. Like, obviously I know it's a very old film, like graphics and that aren't going to be good, so I mean, I'm not like saying don't watch it, it's terrible. I mean, if you're into vampires and that, obviously watch it, just be warned. I mean, it is a very typical thing that vampires, you know, walk around in like a cape and, you know, like, you know how Dracula walked around. But I mean, obviously there's many adaptations of vampires, and obviously a lot of adaptations are just humans that have been turned into a vampire and they're just trying to live their normal everyday life, which honestly I think that's pretty cool. I think that's quite a cool thing to do with an adaptation. Honestly, like, what was I saying? Yeah, like I do pretty much prefer the adaptation of vampires being, well, trying to just live like they are a normal everyday human being with obviously a very top secret. Obviously that's probably just because I absolutely loved the TV series of Vampire Diaries. That was probably one of my absolute most favourite vampire TV show ever. Obviously Twilight, I mean, I watched Twilight before I watched Vampire Diaries, and oh my god, the difference. Like, it's just the vampires in Twilight are just, they are not vampires to me. Like, to me, because I mean, the Twilight vampires didn't even have fangs, like, and I was just like, what, how can you call yourself a vampire if you don't even have fangs, you know? So that kind of annoyed me. Another thing that really annoyed me was obviously the wolves in Twilight, but I'm gonna save that for another video. I'll probably talk about the wolves and stuff like that in the next episode of this little series. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was so disappointed with the Twilight series. The Vampire Diaries was a good series. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, you know, it's for teenage girls, but actually it's kind of not really. It's pretty much for anybody and everybody who likes vampires. I mean, it's probably got to be the more accurate one. I mean, I don't know what Buffy the Vampire Slayer is like because I've not watched it. But yeah, if you haven't watched Twilight or Vampire Diaries, obviously I would definitely recommend watching the Vampire Diaries instead of Twilight. But I mean, for all purposes sake, you know, watch them both, you know, just see what one, you know, whatever. But I'm pretty sure pretty much everyone has seen The Vampire Diaries or Twilight. I keep losing my train of thought today, I don't know why. Obviously, there is the obvious thing about vampires. Obviously, vampires are dead creatures. If they're dead, their body doesn't function properly. Like, they don't have a beating heart, you know, they don't have a pulse or anything like that. So, you know, they wouldn't need to go to the toilet, which, you know, would benefit quite a lot of people. I mean, my personal belief is obviously because obviously their body doesn't work functionally like a human's body does. That's where I believe, like, that's where the bloodlust comes into it, and like they want and they need to feed off of human blood. I know the typical vampire way of feeding is through the neck. A lot of people don't actually realise that they don't always need to feed from the neck. You know, they can take it from the wrist, they can take it from anywhere, you know, they could probably take it from your cheek if they wanted to. But I mean, obviously, you know, the main place that they're going to take the blood from is obviously from your veins. So obviously, like, and normally the more major veins, because that's normally where the most amount of blood is, I suppose. I don't know how the human body works, so don't quote me on that, but that's just the way I see it. I mean, obviously, if you don't agree or whatever, I don't mind. Like, you can leave a comment or whatever, like saying how you feel about vampires, if you think, you know, they're good or if they're just a gimmick. You know, so yeah, I'm more than happy for us to have a little discussion in the comment section below. If you want to comment, that's up to you, free will and everything. Speaking of free will, obviously vampires have the power or the gift or whatever you want to do, or whatever you want to call it, of mind control, or also known as compulsion. Basically, that's just where they, if you don't know what it is, it's just where they use eye contact to, like, kind of like a hypnotism kind of trick, I suppose, into making a human do whatever they say. So like, if they compel you to climb up onto the roof and jump off, you're gonna do that, but you're gonna be like, well, why am I doing this? Like, you're gonna be like, this is really weird, kind of thing. So I mean, obviously, I mean, that was just an example, but yeah, I mean, I honestly, that sounds really amazing, because like, having the power to use mind control, I mean, I know it's completely unfair on the human, but in the real world, do you know how handy that would be? Like, I don't know, say you didn't have money for the bus, you could just get on and you'd be like, you're gonna let me get on, and you're not gonna say a thing, and they're gonna be like, do you know what I mean? Obviously, I mean, with compulsion, obviously you do need to like keep eye contact, or at least, I think it's keep eye contact, and I think maybe have your hand on them, like, and like have them looking at your eyes. But I mean, pretty much once they start compelling you, like, the human will be kind of locked onto your eyes anyway. So while we're talking about, you know, little tricks that vampires can do, there is a belief, or there was some kind of adaptation of vampires, that they can shapeshift. To be honest, I wouldn't say that they would be able to. I think that that is just generally just a belief and an adaptation, because obviously at the end of the day they used to be human. Do you know what I mean? So the shapeshifting stuff I wouldn't say is true. Obviously, if you believe that they can shapeshift, that's absolutely fine. I'm not saying that it's not, and I'm not saying that it isn't. Wait, I'm not saying that it is, and I'm not saying it isn't. So yeah, I mean, obviously there was a thing that you know, they could shapeshift into bats and other types of things, you know, to their advantage or something. But I mean, I don't really know a whole lot on that part of things because I don't really believe it, so I was just briefly touching on it, you know, in case, you know, just to touch on it, I suppose. They can only be killed with a stake through the heart, but if I can quote Hotel Transylvania, who wouldn't that kill? A stake through the heart will kill everyone on this planet, you know. I mean, obviously it's just a little thing that, you know, is supposed to be part of the whole vampire stuff. I don't really know where I was going with that bit, but yeah, I mean, that's not the only way. I mean, obviously you can just decapitate them and, you know, they're dead, but again, who wouldn't that kill? Do you know what I mean? So that part, it's pretty basic. It's pretty basic. I mean, I think it's but mainly more for the fact that you can't just shoot them, because if you shoot them, they're just going to get back up. Do you know what I mean? So obviously the whole thing with garlic and the cross, and I don't know. I think that was again a little bit gimmicky and just a little bit of nonsense, really. Well, I mean, I thought it was just people watching right now. I don't really think that would really, I mean, obviously I know, I mean, maybe there might be, you know, upset about the cross and stuff if they weren't particularly religious or whatever before they died, and, you know, they still got that about them. But other than that, I wouldn't say, you know, the garlic thing's true. I don't really think that's true. I mean, if you think it's true, then that's fine, you know what I mean? But I think it was a bit more of a gimmick than anything. Like, I mean, I think in Dracula they do have the whole garlic and stuff like that in it, which is cool, you know. But I just generally think, like, how can something be scared of garlic? I mean, I can't remember what the garlic is supposed to do to vampires, but I suppose I should have really looked that up before I started filming, but, you know, I don't do things very prepared. The sunlight issue, though, I do think that would be something true. I liked the sunlight issue in the Vampire Diaries, where if you've not seen the Vampire Diaries, you might want to mute or just skip ahead for a couple of seconds, for like a minute, probably maximum, if you haven't seen it and you don't want me to spoil anything for you. But anyway, the sunlight issue I think was really clever in the Vampire Diaries, because obviously the two main vampires in it, Stefan and Damon, wore daylight rings, which were spelled to protect them from the sunlight so that they could live normal, happy human lives and still and not be bound to the shadows and the darkness. Because, I mean, let's be real. I mean, I think Dracula ended up going a little bit insane because of, you know, being trapped to the night time. Do you know what I mean? That's actually really quite funny. I'm talking about the Vampire Diaries, and I've got Ian Somerhalder's calendar in the background. So, I mean, if you don't know who he is, that's just Damon Salvatore from Vampire Diaries. But yeah, I thought it was very clever, the fact that, like, they were the only vampires with daylight rings. Obviously, before that, I mean, you had a couple of other vampires who had daylight rings, but obviously they weren't given out freely, obviously, because of the whole, you know, bloodlust and stuff. You know, some vampires didn't control it as well and all the rest of it, so only like certain vampires were allowed one. But obviously walking around in the modern day with a daylight ring, when people know that you're a vampire, people are going to be like, how would you walk in the sun then? Like, surely you should be, you know, hiding behind curtains kind of thing. But yeah, I thought it was quite cool. Honestly, right, this might sound a little bit crazy and a little bit nutty, but honestly, if they ever, like if science ever managed to find a way to make vampires an actual thing in the real world, like now, kind of like, or like in the future, and if I'm hopefully still around, I'm signing up for that, because that sounds actually really amazing, you know, because obviously with the super hearing, with the, you know, with the super hearing, the super speed and everything else that goes with it, I generally do think it would be quite amazing. And obviously compulsion sounds really great, you know, because then I could just walk in somewhere that I wanted to work and be like, you're going to give me a job. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I can't think of anything else to say right now. I think I'm all out of my ideas to say. But yeah, I'll probably do like a part 2 if I think of any more like little things about vampires that I want to talk about. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. Obviously don't forget to leave your thoughts, comments, beliefs, whatever you want to like if you've got anything to say, or you know, you want to reply to something that I mentioned in this video. You're more than welcome to leave a comment on in the comment section down below. Obviously if you want to see more of these types of videos from me, because I will be doing like a little series throughout October, you know, as it is Halloween. If you want to see more of those, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also click on the little bell next to it so you can get notified every single time I upload, because chances are it will be another video like this. Also on my channel, if you're just wondering, if you're new to my channel, I also do makeup, reviews, tutorials, stuff like that on my channel as well. So if you're also interested in that, you know, maybe consider subscribing as well. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and you know, I hope you also have a good night or day whenever you're watching this, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.